Rotimi Akeredolu again defeats Eyitayo Jegede at the Supreme Court in a 4-3 Supreme Court split judgment of the justices today. And the All Progressives Congress APC prepares for World Congresses with several leadership issues thrown up. We dissect them with one of the chieftains of the party tonight. Hello everyone and welcome to Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale in Lagos. Tonight is Victory Party at the Akeredolu and APC camp, and we shall be hearing from the governor himself. But before we get into that, let's tell you about some of your political roundup stories.
The Kaduna State High Court has discharged and acquitted the leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, who was accused of culpable homicide, disruption of public peace, and unlawful assembly, among other charges brought against him and his wife Zina by the Kaduna State government. Justice Gideon Kurada upheld a no-case submission filed by El-Zakzaky's counsel, Femi Falana, arguing that the witnesses presented by the prosecution counsel had been unable to establish any connection between the charges and Sheikh El-Zakzaky. In Bayelsa State, Governor Daoye Diri has admonished appointees of the state to desist from heating the polity by getting involved in political activities, as his administration will sack any appointee involved in open politicking. He sounded this note of warning to his appointees during the swearing-in ceremony of two special advisors. The national leadership of the All Progressives Congress has assured its members of its readiness to conduct peaceful World Congress scheduled to commence on Saturday, July the 31st, 2021 in Kwara State. The state APC chairman, Abdullahi Samari, gave the assurance while welcoming members of World Congress Committee from the National Secretariat of the party, led by its chairman, Shuaib Umar.
This guideline will be strictly enforced in the state to ensure fair participation by all members who can vote and be voted for.
The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has been speaking on the efforts of the Buhari administration in delivering more infrastructure projects in the country. Mr. Fashola says the construction of a new double-lane bridge on the border between Nigeria and Cameroon will facilitate free trade. He was speaking at the inspection of the newly constructed 1.5-kilometer bridge. Mr. Fashola says the project will also strengthen relations between both countries and improve cross-border security. Funded by both nations, construction of the two-lane bridge in Ekotumfum in Etum local government area of Cross River began on April 28, 2017 and was completed in March this year at the cost of 35.9 billion naira.
This bridge we're standing on is the new Ecom Bridge. What this bridge does is to facilitate international trade through the sea.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So let's get talking about perhaps your biggest political story today in Nigeria. And that is the fact that Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State today emerged victorious yet again with 4 justices of the Supreme Court upholding Governor Akeredolu's election at the October 10 governorship election. This is against the 3 justices who disagree with the majority judgment, insisting that Akeredolu's candidacy in that election was a nullity. This position is upheld by the majority judgment delivered today by the Supreme Court. The minority judgment holds that the view that the appeal court has merit and ought not to have been struck out by the appeal court. As it stands, the majority judgment stands despite the views of the dissenting justices. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, had approached the appeal court to challenge the candidacy of Governor Akeredolu, insisting that his nomination form was signed by a sitting governor and prayed the court to nullify his candidacy, but the appeal court struck out the appeal for lack of merit. And now the PDP candidate in that election, and who took Mr. Akeredolu to court, Mr. Eyitayo Jegede, has been reacting to the outcome of today's judgment. Mr. Jegede, in a statement, said, and I quote, "Now that we have explored the grievance procedure permitted by the Constitution and the law, it is time to give glory to God. He continued to say that we were in this for service and for the collective interest of the majority of our people. The outcome of today's judgment should not deter good and well-meaning individuals from aspiring for leadership in our state and in our country. With this outcome, our respect and reverence for the judiciary and our justices of the Supreme Court has not diminished. There are a lot of lessons from this judgment and perhaps what this means for the winner and the loser. And of course, at the end of the day, the primary premise of all of this is the people of Ondo State who went to the poll to vote. And at the end of the day, they're looking forward to the outcome of today's election. So let's get talking and hear from the governor, Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu, who emerged winner today. He joins us virtually from Ibadan. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on Politics Today. And I must say, congratulations on your victory yet again. You from the election to the tribunal, to the appeal court, and now to the Supreme Court. Congratulations indeed. I guess that is a right one to say. But how does this verdict come to you?
Let me just thank you for that and say that we give God Almighty all the glory for the victory. God is one to be that will receive all the glory. We are all there. Thank God for His mercies. Thank you so much.
Great. So I'm saying that how does this come to you? Because this is a long, drawn battle. After the election, you perhaps thought that things might be over. But I know as a lawyer, it's never over until it's over. But this is the final lap, isn't it? So how does this come to you as a governor who was in this race from the very onset?
Well, I mean, the question on how does it come to me, I mean, let me start from the beginning. I was surprised about the action. I felt that we had a comfortable victory. Not just comfortable, very overwhelming. We won in 15 out of 18 local governments. And we defeated the PDP candidate with over 90,000 votes. It's not something usual. It's an unusual. The victory was most overwhelming. And when the issue of this petition came up, I felt it was a joke. I believe to God who made me, I thought it was a huge joke. And when I got the tribunal judgment, which 3 judges gave judgment in our favor, and we got the Court of Appeal, we have 5 justices who gave judgment in our favor, making 8. But when we got to Supreme Court, well, I mean, everybody has his own opinion. But I have always believed that judges are judges, whether we like it or not. So if 3 of them Supreme Court were against us and 4 were for us. So clearly, we have had 12 judges or justices who have found in our favor and 3 in favor of the other side. So for me, it's I'm a lawyer. I go to court. I used to go to court quite often, and this is what I'm used to in my life. So I want to take it as it comes. So all I know is that victory is victory, and we thank God for this victory.
If you look at your opponent and what he said today, his reaction, I want to know what this means for you and to you. He says, we are in this for service and for the collective interest of the majority of our people. Do you have a similar view, or your view is quite different from his?
I am in need for service and for the collective interest of our people. I am not too sure he went to this pursuit in court for service or for the collective interest. When you talk about collective interest, if majority voted for someone, you want to go by the backside to remove that person, it cannot be for collective interest. It's for individual interest or for what I would call your own interest, not collective interest. You won in 3 local government, somebody won in 15 local government, you still went to court to challenge it. And you are basing your challenge on technicalities. So how do you say it's for collective interest? Not for collective interest. It's for personal interest. That's why I say it. I'm in politics for collective interest. That's why I stood to defend those who voted for us who outnumbered them with over 90,000. So that is a collective interest. That's my own view. I'm in politics for collective. I've never believed if you go to court to want to use technology to use court to declare you a governor, it's not for collective interest. The collective interest is determined at the polls.
I mean, I personally, I didn't study law, but I'm someone who had tried to also follow the trends in law. And Supreme Court judgments are as much as law, as far as our community of laws are concerned. And I looked at it from the days of Justice Salami, the 2007 saga, and all how governorship cases have gone up to Supreme Court. It didn't used to be. As a senior advocate of Nigeria, someone who had risen to this very, at the pinnacle of the legal profession in Nigeria, what do you make of this trend, or what has become a major worry for some lawyers who think that governorship race or legal battle in governorship race shouldn't get up to the Supreme Court? Do you hold that view too?
Thank you so much. This is a different debate. It has nothing to do with my case. But if you ask for my view as a lawyer, I've always had that view that it need not go to Supreme Court. I've always had that view that what we had before, that we terminate the election matters at Court of Appeal for governorship races is enough. So that it just go through what I would call hearing and an appeal. This is what happens in all the other cases. All the other cases go hearing and appeal. If it's presidency, you have one hearing and appeal to Supreme Court. So if hearing here is at the High Court, the appeal should end at the Court of Appeal. That has always been my view. But we have a law. We have to obey the law. We cannot run away from it. The Electoral Act and the laws have been amended, and this has to go straight to Supreme Court. It's not necessary. We cannot continue this way. You have 3 tiers of trials in just an election. I don't believe it's right. I might be wrong, but that's my own view.
Today is very instructive. I'm trying to choose my words carefully now because I'm speaking to a senior advocate of Nigeria, a second-term governor at that. Is instructive in the sense that it's a judgment, 4 justices against 3 dissenting judgments. So it could have gone either way. I mean, it could have gone that 3 justices ruling in your favor and 4 ruling in the favor of Mr. Jegede, and it could mean that your being a governor could have ended today. How would that have been for you and come to you if it had gone the other way?
Seriously, you are right. It could have gone the other way. But I must tell you, I'm surprised. Totally taken by surprise. The case to me and to many of us, to my counsel, all of us believe that this was a case that was so straightforward. But I kept hampering on the fact that there is no simple case because of Nigeria's situation. No case is simple. So I want to thank my counsel who put everything into it. And I want to thank the judges or the justices of the Supreme Court who were able to appreciate that point. The point we're making is so clear. But as you said, it could have gone either way. There's nothing I would have done. Would have just taken it. Maybe by now I've packed my things out of the government house. I would have left. But because I would have left, and all that will happen is that because of what my own country is nearer, if I put my things there, the next day I'm back for my practice. I have a lot of work to do. I'm not politics. I have a second address, and I've made this point over and over. And that's why I can do what I do, and I'm doing what I do because I have confidence in myself. But the issue is that, as you said, people have gone other way. But if you are going other way, I will still stress the point that we had 8 judges who are not just mere, they're not just, you can't throw their judgment away like that. 8 judges, 3 at the tribunal, 5 at the Court of Appeal, who gave unanimous judgment in our favor. So we cannot discard that. We will have just still referred to that to show that, look, it was not just a mere trial. It was. I know that this case will be cited for long because a lot of issues have been charged there.
So I know that each time I'm speaking with you, Governor Akeredolu, your sense of the manner in which you speak tells the state of your heart and what you believe in. And so it's also instructive for me to ask you this question. In all sincerity, was there kind of apprehension in your camp? Do you have some kind of apprehension and doubt coming up to today before the judgment was delivered?
No, honestly, there was apprehension. I don't rule out that fact. But when we went on appeal, after we got the judgment at the Court of Appeal, we felt, oh, it was a fait accompli that the matter was very simple. But the news we had later, just few days to this judgment, gave us a lot of anxiety. I felt, oh, is it possible for anybody to think otherwise? That the judgment of the Court of Appeal, 5 of them finding in our favor, can anybody think they will turn it? I never believed it would happen. So when it came out that there was some problem, it could happen, I said, so there was apprehension. I'm not going to deny that fact. We were worried. But again, we trusted in the God that we believe in. Some of us are strong believer. I am a man of faith. And because of that, my belief, I trusted in my God and I resumed prayers. And I knew that God had had that prayer. And I thank God for what had happened.
So this is a case of prayers answered and assiduous legal work. So it brings me to this matter before I take you to the issue of the Ondo people and what they should be looking forward to after now. There is something very instructive also that the Supreme Court justices also delivered in the judgment today, and is in relation to what the Constitution and the law says about the leadership of a political party. And that is the technical grounds in which the senior advocate, Eita Ojagede, went to court to say, you are not validly nominated because Mai Mala Buni, the governor of Yobe State, cannot be the chairman of a political party submitting the name of a candidate to INEC. That is going to be quoted in a long time from now. What's your view on that?
Well, if anybody quotes it, it is better that is par incuriam. That is not the judgment of the court. The ratio decidendi of the case is clear, not those contributions. They are par incuriam. Nobody's going to rely on that for anything because you don't rely on such. What was the ratio decidendi of the case is what the 4 justices decided. You can have a dissenting view, but I do not agree with the dissenting view of my Lord Justices of the Supreme Court. I do not agree with it. I am today a chancellor of my church. Can you say I can't be chancellor? Am I being paid? Today we have people who are chairman of Progressive Governors Forum. I'm chairman of Southwest Governors Forum. I'm chairman of South Governors Forum. Can I now say if I take any action there, you can query it? Am I being paid? I belong to a political party. The party needed me to help as a governor. I'm not going to be earning a salary, and I'm asked to act in an acting capacity. Can anybody fault that? So I do not agree with them, and nobody's going to rely on it. It ends there because it's not the ratio decidendi of the case. The ratio decidendi is so clear: is that no, there was nothing wrong in him being chairman. So that one has said to that.
Okay, let me take you to Ondo State now. Now that you can now sleep with your 2 eyes closed, the cases and the battle is over. What should the people of Ondo State be expecting from you?
Well, I can say I've been sleeping with my 2 eyes closed. Although I've not been watching like a bat, like my friend. No, I have a good friend who says I'm like a bat. I'm watching them, but I'm not watching like a bat. I'm not watching like a bat. I sleep with my 2 eyes closed, but the people of Ondo State know me, and I'm a committed person. They know I'm committed to serve them. In my first 100 days, you see what we have done. We're going to do more because we were elected to serve these people. And I see my people are not comfortable. They are suffering. I'm worried about their suffering. I'm handicapped because of finances. But what else do I do? But I'm committed to serve these people of Ondo State. And because of the overwhelming victory I had, which is unprecedented in the history of Ondo State, no governor won with over 50-something% of the vote in an election where 3 people of our major parties were contesting. We have done, the people have shown a lot of confidence in us. They have done well, voting us in, and we are prepared to serve them. So our people should be rest assured that we will put everything we have. We are going to now ratchet up our activities. Yes, we have some financial constraints, but no doubt, in spite of the fact that we are in financial straitjacket, we'll still continue to move on and forge on, and trusting in God, I'm sure we will get to the promised land. We will strive to make Ondo people proud of themselves and proud of their government.
Because as a lawyer also, understanding federalism and how it works, how the constituent units need to also be independent to be able to take their fate in their hands and be able to direct their affairs, pilot the affairs of their people in the way they wish. It's at the heart of the federalism practice, or practicing in the federal state. So, as a constituent unit of Ondo State, what would you say will be the revenue generation idea that could make your state, if not 100% independent, at least to a large extent dependent, that people of Ondo State can say, even where the federal resources are not coming, we know that we can take care of ourselves. Do you have such an idea?
Well, I mean, all of us are clamoring for restructuring. We are not running away from that fact. Some of us, we support the president. We are not hiding that fact. Mr. President that emerged from our party, overwhelming support. There's that political capital that he has. We are not doubting that fact. But some of us believe that, look, something has to be done. That is the only way the states. So a few of the states, some states can survive, Lagos, Rivers, and a few others. But some of us, there must be proper devolution to the state. As subnationals, we must, there are so many items on the exclusive list that should not be there. If we devolve to the states, then the states, in the way they run their own matters, will be able to make money and at least ratchet up their IGR. This is what we are trying to do. I mean, when I came to Ondo, the IGR was average of 700 million. Today, we are grossing over 2 billion. So we were moving more than that until COVID came. We were back about over 2 billion per month. But we want to see that we get above that. But the only way we can get that is that we must be in control of a few of our resources in the state. Except that, then there'll be problem. And that's why people are clamoring for total and proper restructuring. Too much money is in the center. Let the state have enough money to run their own affairs.
All right. Perhaps this is going to be my final question, Governor, before I allow you to have a wonderful evening meal and get some rest. And it's about the agitations in the land. You are one of the leaders in the Southwest region, and part of the agitation is also coming from the Southwest region of the country. Sunday Adeyemo, popularly called Sunday Igboho, the DSS is on its trail, and now the issue of Yoruba nation is also a debate that has been very rife in the land. Let me get your view on Sunday Igboho and how you hope that we can tame what has become a growing agitations across the land.
Thank you, Shehu. My views on Sunday Igboho, I must assure you, will not be for this, what I would call this interview or this discussion today, because if I recollect very well, there's nothing in the Journal of Supreme Court that has to do with Sunday Igboho today. I want to restrict myself to discussion on the judgment of Supreme Court, which you told me you are going to take me on, and I'm going to answer that. But at another time, I will address you fully on my view on Sunday Igboho, not for this program.
But how do we tame the agitations in the land?
The way there's a lot of agitation in the land, all of us know. Southwest governors have spoken, South governors have spoken. We have met, yes, but I believe that there will be a time for healing, and the time should be now. We must come out. Some people must come out. At least speak the truth. Let's sit down and speak the truth ourselves so that we can find solution to the agitations we have in the land. There are a lot. It's not something we can now use this program. We can't end it in this program. We can't even start it here. But we'll give another time to discuss this. I'm not someone that runs from matters of this nature. But for today, I want to confirm myself to this judgment. I want to find my God. I want to go and take my sleep. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I'll allow you to do that, Your Excellency, but I must also sincerely thank you for creating time, because I know just how busy you will be. Your house will be flocked by your supporters by now. Congratulating you, but congratulations again, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, on your victory at the Supreme Court today. Thank you so much indeed.
I appreciate you as always, Sheung. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We take a break now, and when we return, I will be speaking with a lawyer on the Supreme Court judgment. His name is Kayode Ajula, and what it means for the APC. Plus, the APC National Youth Leader will also join me after to speak on the state of the affairs of the APC. Ismail Ahmed is also my guest tonight on the program. Join us again, everyone. I want to thank everyone, and welcome back to the program. The All Progressives Congress APC with this weekend commences World Congresses. This comes in the midst of the series of leadership issues that the party is confronted with. The ruling party has seen some troubles in the past months. But first, let's find out from a lawyer the implications of today's Supreme Court judgment on the leadership of the APC. I'm being joined on someone who has made comments on the situation relating to the leadership situation in the APC, and perhaps how instructive today's judgment is for the APC. Kayode Ajula is a lawyer. He joins us from Abuja. Thank you so much, Kayode, for your time tonight. I've seen your comments. I've seen your interventions that you've written in your opinions, and you've spoken. I've invited you on the program. You've spoken about the situation in the APC. The dissenting judgment of the 3 justices of the Supreme Court says that, look, a sitting governor cannot be the chairman of a political party. It does look like that favors your opinion and your standpoint.
Well, thank you very much, Sheung. Let me start by congratulating my governor, the governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, for the victory that God has given him today. I celebrated his victory, and I believe it's victory for all, particularly when his rival, that is Tayo Jegede, has even congratulates him. So we all congratulate him, and we are so grateful to the Almighty God. There is peace in Ondo State. I can see everybody jubilating. So what else must we ask for is to thank the Almighty God. But as it is, my position right from the beginning has been his premises under Section 183, which was even considered today by the Supreme Court. And as it is an affirmation of that section. That's the provision of that constitution, to the point that as an executive governor, you will not take any employment, apart from employment, to be in any executive capacity. And I stated this as at that time, that having been the national secretary of a political party, that is Labour Party, it's so obvious that both the national chairman of the party and the national secretary of the party, they are the alter ego. They are the ones that run that. They are in charge of the day-to-day activities of that political party. And if you ask me, what do we call the executive? That's what it is. And today, by what we have from the Supreme Court is in tandem with that position. So as it is, like I said earlier, I will not sit with you to review the judgment of the Supreme Court, which I will not do. But I believe it's imperative that with what has happened today, for the president of the governor of Yobe State, who is still a sitting governor, that is Malabuni, to honorably resign today. And I say this, if I actually love the party, because I know very soon there will be a lot of cacophony, a lot of different colors of litigation that will come in. Today,
but Mr.
Ajulo,
the majority of the judgment today is in favor of Mai Mala Buni. So why should he resign?
I will not come to say it's in favor of Mala Buni. The issue here is that Mala Buni should have been joined. The situation is that Mala Buni should have been joined. But unfortunately, Mala Buni now is not joined by the petitioner. And that is what it is. So we can't say that today's judgment is in favor of Mala Buni. I debate that Mala Buni is joined, it would have been a different thing. If you said it's conditional, I debate that it has been joined, the story will have been different. That's why I'm saying that very soon, others may be joined. But another question that I've been asking myself, I haven't gone through the judgment, is that how are you going to join the sitting governor of a state where we have a constitutional provision that has a very granted such immunity? So that is one of the two things in Nigeria. I don't believe that it will still be the sitting governor, because
so sorry. The connection is really horrible there. Kayode Ajulo there, a lawyer in Abuja. But let's speak with Ismail Ahmed. He's a national youth leader of the APC. Himself also is a lawyer, and he joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you. It's good to see you, Ismail, and thank you so much for coming. I think we should begin the conversation from where Mr. Kayode Ajulo dropped it. In relation to his asking that the Governor Mala Buni should resign based on the judgment or what happened today at the Supreme Court. Let me get your view.
I haven't read the judgment, so I don't think I'm in a good place to talk about it. I've just come out from a meeting, and I heard, there are talks about a Supreme Court judgment where the APC won, and Governor Akeredolu has been affirmed as the duly elected governor of Ondo State. Other than that, I haven't heard or I haven't read the judgment, so I don't know exactly what it contains. So I think it would be unfair for me to make a statement on it.
Okay, so it's about. Let me just give you a summary of some of the outcome. It's a case of the argument that a sitting governor should not lead a party in the active leadership of a political party, and that is the basis in which the PDP went to court to challenge the election of Governor Akeredolu. And so that's the premise in which Kayode said Mai Mala Buni should resign as the National Caretaker Committee chairman of the party.
No, I think Kayode is entitled to his opinion, but the constitution of the APC has given the neck of the APC the power to choose or to create to create a committee that will oversee the affairs of any part of the political party. In this case, the NWC, pending the election of a convention that will bring in substantive leaders of the party, and we are well on our way to do that. This was done strictly within the laws. If there is, I'm glad that the judgment didn't go their way, but it's very clear that the NWC has the power to do that, and the neck of the party has the power to do that, and that's exactly what the neck did.
Before I take you into some of the issues thrown up in the wake of the preparations for the World Congresses across the country that will happen on Saturday, some youth in your party yesterday addressed a press conference and said, look, the position of the party in thinking of a consensus candidate ahead of 2023 will not work. And they're saying that it's unconstitutional. You are a national youth leader of your party. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think, a lot of young people have a different, I don't think maybe they don't understand our Constitution very well. The Constitution has given 3 ways in which leadership would emerge. One is either through consensus or through elections, or through, affirmation. So consensus, of course, is always an option within the constitution of the party. I totally agree with the fact that where there is anyone who is interested in running for office, that cannot be subsumed. Parties are not made in boardrooms or in the bedroom of somebody. If there is consensus, consensus should be done at the ward level. And consensus should come after people have purchased forms and they have taken this seriously and take it to the word. Of course, the leaders of the party would like to have as minimal as possible any friction or contest that would generate issues and problems at the ward level. But nevertheless, I think consensus is always an option, both within the party structure, both within the constitution of the party. It's something that we support, but we wouldn't want it to be to the exclusion of every other person. We encourage young people to participate in this process. We encourage leaders of the party. We have set up a lobby committee that will encourage leaders of the party to accommodate as many young people as possible within the structures. And where young people feel as if they can go toe-to-toe because they have the right to contest, they should be sold forms. The party has made it very clear that nobody should hoard forms. And whenever there's one person that does not agree, consensus means when everybody agrees. If there's one person that says he doesn't agree, there must be an election. So I think it's fair. But to say that it's an unconstitutional move not to have consensus, it's simply not... It's ignorance of the constitution of the party. But there shouldn't be consensus to the exclusion of other people. That is what would be unacceptable.
Give us an idea of what this lobby committee is all about. What is the agenda?
Well, the agenda behind the lobby committee is to get as many young people in the party structure as possible. We understand that leaders all over the states will sit down and talk about consensus, like you mentioned, or in some cases where they will try and see that they minimize friction at the ward level, so that a lot of people do not come out to contest and there are no court cases after the congresses and stuff like that. So they try, of course, usually to see if they can go into a room, sit down, talk to people, see how they can come to a resolution somehow at the local level, do the balancing, the zoning, this and that. So we want young people to be carried along in that. So we want to meet the influencers at state, zonal level, and local level, and talk to them about including young people in that structure. We're not giving them names, but in every ward, there are young people who are party members, dedicated, committed. Those are people you rely on when it is time for election. They should be able to be given opportunity to be leaders in the party at the ward level, local government level, and state level. So the whole idea is so that we can have some sort of an arrangement where young people are being spoken for by other young people who have had opportunities and are privileged to be in different positions, to talk to leaders of the party to accommodate young people. That's the whole idea of the lobby committee that has been endorsed by the president and the leadership of the party.
What's your projection? You're talking about leadership within the party. Are you also looking at perhaps a young president for presidential candidate for your party in 2023?
I'm not going to jump the gun. We are not at the presidential contest yet, but we are trying to see how we can get the APC to be attractive to young people. And that would happen by having them be in the positions of authority within the party structure so that they can churn up young, vibrant people for elective positions, I think is one of the most important things. In this game of politics, there's a lot of accusations, counter-accusations, agendas, counter-agendas, people suspecting other people of doing A, B, C. If they don't know where you are coming from or the motive behind what you are doing, they make all kinds of assertions and insinuations. This is the game we're in. It's a rough, tough game with people that you think ought to know better or are in a position to know better, but they just go aside and they make all kinds of insinuations when they don't understand what's coming. Our agenda is very clear. We want young people to participate in this process, and we want this party to be owned by young people. We are not oblivious of the fact that the biggest voting bloc of the APC is Muhammadu Buhari as a person. Muhammadu Buhari will not be on the ballot in 2023. And if he's not going to be on the ballot, you need a cachet of young people to come into the party in droves. And that has to be more than just about talk. The party has to demonstrate capacity to welcome young people into it without any fight, without any confrontation, without any agitation. That's why we're saying open your doors. This is an opportunity for us to drag in young people. The INEC just did an online registration the last few weeks. About 1 million people registered. A lot of them are young people. You know, once you make it convenient for young people to register, once you make it convenient for young people to be part of the process, they are going to participate in this process. So we're saying that the APC as a progressive party looks forward much more than backward. So when the time comes for us to pick a presidential candidate, whether or not that presidential candidate is going to be young or not, we will make sure that young people have a say on who becomes the president, the presidential candidate of the party, and ultimately the president of the country, God willing.
When we talk about young youth, those words are actually they need definition. And on a lighter note, for people like you with gray hair now, I know you're a young person, but so is it young people at heart or young people indeed? What is the definition of young for the APC?
Well, there's a difference between young and youth. The definition of youth in APC is between the age of 18 to 40. That is the definition of a youth. And that is what we intend to make sure that most of our youth leaders, or all of our youth leaders from the ward level to the national level, are below the age of 40. At the ward level and local government level, we want them to be below the age of 35. At the state and the national level, we want them to be below the age of 40 at the most. That's for youth. Young people can go all the way up to 45 to up to 50. That's being a young person, depending on the circumstances you find yourself. But that's not a definition by the constitution of the party. Usually they bandy it around, but we consider people between the ages of 18 to 45 as young people. We consider the age of 18 to 40 as youth. Okay,
interesting. It's good that you have defined it and how you're working on that. So you said you're hoping and willing to attract young people in droves into your party. But I'm imagining how you hope to do that, considering how Nigerians perceive or receive in your party. I cannot tell because I'm just a journalist who is sitting on the fence and looking at a political journalist looking at the different sides of the divide. But tell Nigerians today, Ismail, does your party have the kind of steam it has in 2015, for example, that won it an election, defeating an incumbent president? Do you think your party has that kind of leverage now?
Well, you see, every administration, every party that comes into power begins the job of defending immediately, because Nigerians are aware that we came in a very difficult situation. We still are in a very difficult situation. We hoped that things should have been better or would have been better by now. We have done incredibly well in so many respects. But of course, we're not saying that everything is fine and that Nigerians shouldn't have any complaints. But the opposition party are not nearly as good as we are. It's very clear. The option that Nigerians have is not anything close to what we have been able to deliver so far in terms of infrastructure and social investments and so many other things. Is there room for improvement? Yes. The party needs to reinvent itself and get in a lot of young people to be part of the thinking process and policies. It is no longer a privilege to give young people opportunity. It has to be a strategy for the development of the party. Young people are getting wiser by the day. They're getting more informed. they're getting more involved. It is very, very important that we understand as a political party, and I know that we do because the leadership of the party always gives me support whenever these issues arise, that whenever these issues come up, we try and move on and try to get young people to be part of the process, because the fight for 2023 is going to be the fight for young people's vote. And if it is going to be a fight for the young people's vote, who better to fight it than young people being in positions of authority across the length and breadth of the country. And I think it is very important that we focus on that. I think it's very important that we focus on that.
And that's the thrust of my question, whether or not Nigerians can trust your party, APC, based on the promises your party made to Nigerians.
Absolutely.
And the delivery that they're getting right now.
Absolutely,
are
they can.
Nigerians getting the best deal that they bargained for when they entrusted their vote into the hands of APC?
Yes, I think Nigerians can trust our party again. I think this president has done well. He has done incredibly well. And I think history will be fair and kind to him. And I think history will be fair and kind to the APC. Have we achieved everything we've set out to achieve? No. One of our biggest thorny issues is the issue of security. We have done incredibly well when it comes to the Northeast, the security in the Northeast. We have been able to tame a lot of insurgency in the Northeast. But it has moved down. It has moved down to the Northwest. It has moved down to the North Central and so many parts. It is disheartening. It's something that we're not happy about. It's something that we are trying, I'm sure that the security agencies are trying day in, day out to see that we bring it to an end. But I would also like to see a more vigorous approach by the security agencies in recruiting more people to be part of this manpower, especially the police and so many other formations of the security. And I think we should have more focus on trying to respect people who wear uniforms as opposed to denigrate them. All the tensions moving up and down, I think we need to be able to quell them. People naturally do not trust the government, so we need to do a lot more advocacy, more communication between the government and the governed. Those are things we need to really improve and show people what we are doing, and to be able to make political moves and political statements that would make people at ease. And I think those are things that we need to improve on as a political party, and we are working on it. We are not saying we're perfect, but it's something that we're working on.
Yeah, because I'm wondering how, you speak very eloquently, but I don't know how eloquent you want to pass the communication or message across to the man whose child or mother whose child was kidnapped at the Baptist school in Kaduna, or whose kid was also kidnapped in some part of Zamfara, or the man who, that is trying to put food on the table of their children, whose the cost of food has increased by more than 50% in the last 2 years. How easy would that kind of communication be for those who said they voted for the APC and now this is what they are getting?
Well, you see, for every one attack you hear of, be it by bandit attack or kidnapping or ransom paid, God knows how many else was foiled that you never get to hear of. And I cannot pretend to put myself in a position of a person who is a victim of this crime, because it hasn't happened to me. So I'm not going to sit down here and tell you that it is okay or that they understand the situation we're in. I can only imagine how gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching this could be whenever it happens to anyone. No one could tell you what it means or how it feels to be in this position. But insecurity, it's something that we're dealing with. It's one of the things that that we're really, really worried about. It's a new phenomena, especially the kidnapping and the ransom payments and stuff that we have not envisaged when we are coming into office. It's something I'm sure that the security agents are working day in, day out to make sure that they combat it. But we're not going to sit down and tell you that there's any way you can tell anybody who is a victim of this heinous crime that it is okay, that that is not going to happen again, or what happened to him doesn't matter. It matters. It is a serious
exactly
issue.
My point, Ismail.
And it's
Just
something
as
that
we
we're
wrap
not happy
up,
about.
yeah, I would like you to let's conclude the conversation in just about 60 seconds. Exactly the point I was trying to make, Ismail, and is the fact that your party made a promise to Nigerians. So you said you can do the job, and that's why they signed you on. It's just like a player that you sign on. You pass medicals. You are saying that you can do the play, you can play, you can give them results. That's what your party said you are going to do. You promised Nigerians that you fix security, you fight corruption, you provide food for Nigerians, you fix the economic woes of Nigeria. But for those who are criticizing your party, saying everything that you have told us is in the opposite.
There is no government that would ever come and solve all the problems of a country. But we came in on the premise of so many things we're going to do, which we have been able to achieve, a lot of them. Are we satisfied completely? No. Should we be? Absolutely not. But there are rooms for improvement, like I said. But there will never be a government, not in Nigeria, not anywhere else in the world, that would come and solve every problem. It will not happen. American presidents, day in, day out, talk about immigration policy, something as simple as that. None of them has been able to solve it completely. Or massive shooting that goes on in malls and churches and synagogues. Have they been able to stop it? No. So you can't solve all problems. Because if there will be a time that the government will solve all problems, then there probably will be a time that there will be no need for any government.
All right.
But the question is, have we been able to deliver on some of the key points which we could able to deliver? Yes. Like I told you, and I'll admit it, I'll be the first person to admit, I'm from the Northwest, and I know what it is to not to be able to apply certain roads in the Northwest.
Right.
It is incredibly heart-wrenching. And I'm part of this government, and I'm proud of it. But these are issues that we have to deal with, and we're making improvements upon them. But the security agencies are doing their best. Nigerians should give them all the support that they can. We should be able to have local intel, and the security agents and government should be able to recruit more manpower.
Thank you so much for your time. The national youth leader of the APC, Ismail Ahmed. Thank you so much for your time tonight. And unfortunately, the connection there could not allow us further conversations with the lawyer, Kayode Ajulo. But sincere thanks for coming on today. That's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimale. Bye for now.